You have not seen what I have seen.
I have seen my share.
The Rings of Power has definitely held some power over the lives of the stunt actors. Some of the worst injuries we've heard of in a long time happened on this set, but there were also some beautiful moments of actors overcoming their fears.
I don't want a stunt double.
Number 1. This one is truly a waking nightmare. How Morfydd got through this, we'll never know.
Once an elf sets her mind to something, it's quite terrifying because she will go in.
And now, here's for a really stressful moment.
The water stuff was something I'd always found quite frightening.
Morfydd Clark is basically terrified of her own shadow, so you can imagine how she felt knowing what was coming for her.
I was tied underwater.
That's right, she was tied underwater for an hour and a half without actually being able to come up for air.
So that was something I didn't expect to be able to do.
She of course had access to oxygen, to use a breather. She also had to do scuba training to prepare for this moment. The crazy part is, she actually found the situation rather zen. Nope, 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 nope. That's a million nopes from us, thanks. We do not encourage underwater therapy. Number 2. This one's a tale as old as time. Costumes almost never reflect the filming weather. It was boiling on set, so for actor Owain Arthur, with a thick, wintry costume, prosthetics, glue, and that 16-piece beard attached to his face and covering a solid portion of his body, he was burning up, that's for sure. They had to add a cooling vest to him so he didn't end up like Clark, which we'll get into in a second. The actor was also too tall to play a dwarf, so to mitigate the use of CGI in some scenes, he was stuck on his knees. Poor guy, that doesn't sound comfortable, given we know how long filming can take sometimes. Number 3. Sometimes situations evolve. It's best to take extra precautions. Stunt performer Dana Grant had a serious head injury. After being scanned, she found out she had an 8mm brain aneurysm and an upper spinal injury. She had to go for immediate brain surgery following the situation. It was not reported to WorkSafe because someone close to the production said that at the time, it was diagnosed as a mild concussion, and that isn't considered a notifiable event, according to WorkSafe. One person said Dana's concussion happened because she was made to do maneuvers she was uncomfortable with. Another famous New Zealand actor, Lawless, helped raise $100,000 for Dana's emergency surgery. Number 4. We're not sure how that bolt got there, but it caused some serious havoc. Another stunt performer, Alyssa Cadwell, fell into a water tank as part of a stunt, but her head wound ended up striking a bolt on the way down. A witness said that the injuries were traumatic. She was paid $500,000 by Amazon. Supposedly, the payment was to cover the expenses for Cadwell's care and to return home, and was not a lawsuit payoff situation, supposedly. Number 5. It's easy enough to twist a wrist while doing literally nothing. We can't say we're surprised by this. The final stunt performer to be seriously hurt was Thomas Kiwi, who injured the rotator cuff in his right shoulder so bad that he left the production. He said that he was required to perform backflip stunts with an improperly rigged support wire system. He just kept getting caught on the wires. He mentioned the problem, but it didn't get addressed. I corrected him directly after it happened. The next day, I said, "This is what you got wrong. They should be more onto it because there's a lot of shit that's happening in the stunt department and a lot of unsafe stuff that's happened." I just left. He did a whole extra day of work after the incident before he ever even saw the doctor. Number 6. Living with big feet is a pain in general. Trying to find cute shoes your size must be a nightmare. The Harfoot feet were irritating the actors. That's a small gripe compared to hitting your head off of a bolt underwater, though.
We're safe.
Sarah Zwangobani, who played Marigold Brandyfoot, said, "I found out I got a job on one of the biggest shows on the planet. And I go to costuming and I was like, what am I going to be wearing? It's going to be amazing. And they put me in this big skirt and feet, and I was covered in mud the whole time. So that was a bit of a come down. And we bet super itchy too." She continued, "The prosthetic feet were a bit challenging at first, but we had this incredible team of people who kept refining them. And by the end, they became part of us, and we didn't want to take them off." Number 7. Sounds like there's an uprising going on. A story about one injury that was never made public, told by another stunt performer. An unnamed stunt performer tore a ligament. So said the other stunt performer, it's a different league being hushed up from normal injury rates on film sets. Number 8. Hype is a dangerous thing, if not handled with care. Before Clark ever even made her way to set, she was injuring herself. Or, well, nearly so. She passed out upon finding out she'd been cast in the show.
You kind of see me wandering off, slightly glassy-eyed, and then I was caught by a security guard.
In the middle of a Q&A for another show. Or so she said. Imagine keeping that secret. Number 9. Don't stress the little stuff. Sure, that's a great motto in some cases. This series has a ton of stunts in it, of course, and risk analysis was performed whenever necessary, with all near misses and accidents going on record. Heatley said, "We have had 16,200 stunt person days worked since we started production. Our injury rate across all studios is 0.065%. Most of these injuries are common stunt-related sprains, bruises, and muscle and soft tissue strains." Number 10. Who says acting isn't hard work? Long hours over long filming periods can lead to burnout. Acting may seem easy from the outside, but that isn't the case at all. Ismael had gone through so much grueling physical work, he said he was comatose and couldn't even go and hang out with Clark. We imagine the physical stress of working on a show like The Rings of Power would be enough to knock you on your butt for a few days. Number 11. So, here's a silly story. The cast was playing a hybrid game of football tennis between takes. The players must score goals by hitting the ball over a short net. And well, while the cast may be good at wielding weapons and climbing mountains, Ismael and Morfydd were terrible at the game. Just absolutely dreadful, and would fake injuries to get out of playing. The only real thing that was hurt here was their pride. Number 12. We feel like we've put you in a miserable mood, so let's end this thing on a high note. In an uplifting moment of healing, Clark as a child was never able to ride horses because her mom did her back in riding one. So you can imagine it was a huge challenge for the actor to climb on a horse for herself. When she got to set and got to climb on a horse, and then got extra time on the horses thanks to the pandemic, she fell in love with the animal. Clark recalls that riding her horse, Titan, led to one of the most beautiful things she'd ever experienced, saying, "I remember there was one time when some sort of butterflies had just hatched. There was just a load of them around me while I was riding him, and I was just like, this can't be real. Surely life can't be this beautiful." The Rings of Power has definitely had its fair share of dangerous stunts, and we honestly don't think we have the stomach for most of it. Would you be willing to do that underwater scene to be part of the Lord of the Rings universe? Let us know in the comments, and thanks for hanging out with us here at The Things.